$14,000. That's the gap I watched a buyer almost throw away last month, cross-shopping two trucks that do the exact same job. He was about to pay full price for the safe choice and walk past the one that had been sitting unsold for half a year. Here's the mistake I see most in my shop. People assume a truck that's hard to sell is a truck that's hard to trust. Those aren't the same thing. One's marketing, the other's metal. 20 years with my hands inside these engines taught me that. I've watched thousands of trucks come through that bay, and only a handful keep coming back for the right reasons. So here's what I'm measuring. Not horsepower, not badge, not how it looks lifted in a driveway. Reliability per dollar, what you get back over the life of the truck for what you paid to get in it. That's the only number that matters once the new truck smell wears off. 6 trucks. All under $20,000 right now. All ignored for reasons that have nothing to do with how they hold up. The last one is the truck I see mechanics quietly buying for themselves. Stick around for that one. Number 6, the Nissan Titan, first generation from 2004 to 2015. Most people call it not a real truck. Why? Nissan discontinued it, resale fell off a cliff, and buyers assume something mechanical must be wrong too. I had a landscaper buy one purely because the price kept dropping. That truck's passed 150,000 miles now, hauling mulch and mowers 5 days a week, and outside normal maintenance, it hasn't cost him extra. The VK56DE V8 isn't fancy. It's simple, and fewer systems means fewer things to fail. Put it against the same era F-150, or Silverado at similar mileage, and the Titan usually runs $2,000 or $3,000 cheaper for a truck that asks for less babying. Watch for a whine in the rear differential, check the frame for rust if you're near road salt, and check the transmission fluid. Clean red, not brown. Want something that just runs with no ego attached? This is it. Here's a truck mocked for the opposite reason. Number 5, the Honda Ridgeline, first generation, from 2006 to 2014. The second people learn it's unibody instead of body on frame, they write it off. I had a contractor client get teased constantly for buying his. 5 years of hauling trailers later, not one tow-related failure. That unibody build gives it a rigidity advantage most body-on-frame trucks can't match, even with a trade-off in max payload. The J-Series 5.8 is low maintenance, and Hondas from this era are famously light on electrical faults. Set it against a similarly priced Tacoma, and the Ridgeline usually rides better and complains less. What needs attention? The timing belt, which must stay on schedule or you're looking at real engine damage, and the VCM lifters, which can tick if oil changes get skipped. Get the belt records, listen for lifter noise cold. Hauling light to medium loads and want something that drives more like a car? This is your truck. Number 4, the Chevrolet Colorado, or its twin the GMC Canyon from 2015 to 2019. This one gets skipped for pure size bias. I had a retiree almost buy a full-size truck out of habit, switch to a Colorado at the last minute, and never look back. Find one with the Duramax 2.8-liter diesel, and the torque numbers genuinely surprise people, built off a block with real industrial roots. Line it up against a full-size half-ton at the same year and mileage, and the Colorado usually wins on price and fuel economy, assuming you're not using towing capacity most owners never touch anyway. The weak spot is the diesel emissions system. DEF and EGR components get expensive if ignored, and the infotainment shows its age. Pull stored DEF codes, check the EGR for carbon buildup, don't skip the transfer case fluid. Don't need max towing and want to save at the pump? Worth real consideration. Here's the reset. Every truck so far has beaten its more popular rival on one number: reliability per dollar. Not horsepower, not prestige, not button count. That's the lens for the rest of this list too. If you've made it this far, you're clearly serious about buying smart. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown. Now the top 3. Number 3, the Ram 1500 4th generation Hemi from 2009 to 2012. This generation got tagged with fuel economy complaints and early infotainment headaches, and that reputation outlived the actual problem. I had a buyer nearly talk himself out of one after a night of forum horror stories. Bought it anyway. Never ran into a single issue those threads warned about. The 5.7-liter Hemi with variable valve timing is a genuinely tough block, and the multi-displacement system is far more dependable than its reputation suggests once you understand what it's doing under load. Compare it against a same-era F150 V8, and the Ram usually comes in noticeably cheaper for comparable power and towing. Watch for lifter tick tied to MDS wear, tailgate cables that stretch with age, and a water pump driven off the timing system, a bigger job than a normal swap. Cold start and listen for ticking, inspect that water pump area, run the U-connect through its paces. Want real V8 towing without diesel money? Strong pick. Number 2, the Ford F-150 EcoBoost 3.5-liter twin-turbo from 2011 to 2014. Fear alone has kept this one cheap for over a decade. Turbo failure worries? Old-school mechanics steering people to the V8 instead. I had a nurse avoid EcoBoost trucks for years finally buy one used, and run it past 200,000 miles on maintenance alone. That twin-turbo V6 actually makes more usable power than the naturally aspirated V8 it competed against. Serviced on schedule, the timing chain and turbo cooling system hold up far better than the reputation implies. Against a V8 trim F150 of the same year and mileage, the EcoBoost usually trades at a real discount, purely because that fear never went away. Real weak points though, timing chain stretch and tensioner wear, spark plug ejection on the earliest years, carbon buildup on the intake valves. Listen for a cold start rattle, check plug torque records, have a shop run a boost leak test. Stay on the maintenance schedule, and this is a smart way into a full-size truck without giving up power for mileage. Number 1, the Toyota Tundra, second generation, from 2007 to 2013. People overlook it for reasons that have nothing to do with performance. Priced close enough to a Tacoma that buyers assume it's overpriced. Waved off as not a real American truck by people who've never driven one. Because Toyota doesn't hype its trucks, it just sits there quietly, while flashier trucks get the attention. I had a real estate agent inherit one, a lifelong Ford and Chevy buyer who expected to trade it in within a year. Years of heavy use later, she's one of the most vocal Tundra defenders I know. Shop logs going back years say the same. These trucks don't come back for major repairs. When one does, it's routine maintenance, nothing dramatic. Mechanically, this truck is built past what it strictly needs to be. The 5.7-liter iForce V8 runs a timing chain instead of a belt, so there's no scheduled replacement waiting to become an expensive surprise. The frame, despite well-documented rust issues in certain years, outbuilt what domestic competitors of that era were making. Compare failure rates against the F-150, Silverado, and Ram from the same generation, and the Tundra consistently comes out ahead, which is why resale stays deceptively strong, even on high-mileage trucks under $20,000. Yes, it sometimes costs a little more than the others on this list. It's earned that. You're paying slightly more upfront to avoid paying dramatically more in repairs over the next 10 years. That's not brand loyalty. That's the math holding up. The weaknesses are real. Frame rust is the top concern on certain model years, serious enough that Toyota ran an actual recall and buyback program, so know the history of the specific truck in front of you. The secondary air injection pump can fail and trip a check engine light. Exhaust manifold leaks are common enough that some cold start ticking is normal even on a healthy example. Check the frame at the known rust points, especially the rear leaf spring mounts and cross members. Confirm the air injection pump still kicks on. Check the exhaust manifold studs. Pull every maintenance record available. A well-maintained one will outlast almost everything else here, and a neglected one still needs that frame check no matter the price. Thinking in decades, not months? This is the truck. Titan, simple and overbuilt, for the buyer who wants wheels and nothing else. Ridgeline, comfortable and drama-free for light hauling. Colorado, right-sized and efficient, for anyone skipping max capability. Ram Hemi, real V8 power at a real discount. EcoBoost F-150. Smart power for anyone who respects the maintenance schedule. Tundra earns its price the hard way, for the buyer thinking long-term. Being unwanted on a used lot is almost never about what's under the hood. It's about what's on the badge. Drive safe.